Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Some high school students were sent home today as a precaution for potential exposure to COVID-19. The move was made at one of the schools in Fargo. Valley News Team's Devin Fry is live at South High School and has the very latest details. Devin?
Thanks, Mike. We're outside South High, like you mentioned right now, where the students were sent home this morning. Now, we actually got a message in our whistleblower hotline from a parent who said that their student was sent home on just the second day of class, saying that they could have been exposed to COVID-19. Now, what we learned from Fargo Public Schools, who confirmed that information just hours later, was that a student had tested positive for COVID-19, and so they went in and made sure that anyone who had close contact with that student, whether it be staff or other students, got sent home. That's following their Smart Restart guidelines. So that's what we know about the situation so far. We don't know about the size of the students or anything like that. They did say that it was a group of less than 10. So a small group of students sent home due to potential COVID-19 exposure. Now, as far as what happens next, contact tracing is being implemented right now by the State Department of Health as they look for anyone else who could have had close contact with that student. We're going to keep our eyes on the situation here at Valley News Live and, of course, keep an eye open for any potential updates as far as this story goes. But for right now, from South High, Devin Fry, Valley News Live.
All right, thanks, Devin. The district, as he said, is following guidelines it established in conjunction with the state of North Dakota as part of its K-12 Smart Restart. Let's take a look at the COVID-19 numbers on this Friday. Minnesota reporting 856 confirmed cases along with 10 new deaths. All total, more than 1,800 deaths have been attributed to the disease. In North Dakota, there are 343 new cases in the state. The death toll stands at 150. Our weekend is off to a pretty good start. Those warmer temps may be laying the foundation for a pleasant holiday weekend. Let's get the latest on what's expected tonight. Nathan, what do you have for us?
Yeah, Mike, things are fairly quiet for us this Friday evening. A bit of a northwest breeze out there is pretty much all we have to contend with. You can see on our Dakota Magic Casino Skycam a little bit of a breeze there, waving those flags there in the parking lot of the hotel and casino. But you can see the winds are strongest out toward the James River Valley, where we have 15 to 20 mile per hour sustained winds, and also a bit breezier for our friends in, say, the Roseau area, where they've got gusts upwards of 24 miles per hour at this hour. And we do see some of the Sisseton Hills down toward the Hankinson area, seeing a bit more of that organized northwesterly breeze at this hour. But that wind has kept our temperatures below average for this time of year. Average high is 76 degrees. So right now we are a little bit below that in the FM metro, but quite a bit below that in our northern Minnesota neighborhood. 63 right now in Baudette, 77 in Sisseton, 71 this hour in Devils Lake, and those low 70s also for our friends in Grand Forks. Satellite and radar is clear and quiet. I expect that to continue for us as we go through the rest of this evening, and by sunset I do expect that wind to calm down as well, where it is still a bit breezy. I expect calm winds through the rest of the night, and clear skies in Fargo, cooling quickly into the 50s. So if you are stepping out late tonight, make sure to have that light jacket handy, as some areas could see some of those upper 40s by the time we hit the midnight hour. You can see for our friends in Grand Forks getting pretty close to that 50-degree mark there by about 2 a.m., but sunset tonight around 8 p.m. even. So days are getting shorter as we head into now this Labor Day weekend. So of course we'll talk about, Mike, what we can expect for that weekend, break it down hour by hour, a roller coaster in store for us. So we'll have all that coming up.
All right, nobody likes a roller coaster, right? Well, some people do.
We'll explain it. We'll break it down.
All right, thanks. How are your kids doing wearing a mask in school? Many of you are reaching out to our whistleblower hotline this week with questions regarding the subject. One in particular involves what would happen if my student doesn't want to put the mask on? Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley has the answer.
For students at West Fargo schools, officials say mask wearing is part of the district's dress code this year, which states any student in violation will be required to change or make arrangements to have appropriate clothing brought to school immediately. West Fargo officials say they suggest the virtual program for students or families who do not support the wearing of masks. And if your child is a student with Fargo Public Schools, officials say if the issue of not wearing a mask persisted, a meeting or conversation would occur with the student's parents, but say at this time there are not plans for students to face disciplinary action due to not wearing a mask. And for Moorhead Public students, official guidelines state those who refuse to wear a mask will be required to complete a full screening at school, including daily temperature checks in order to ensure their safety and the safety of others in the school. While it is only the first or second week of school for many, most school districts tell me they haven't had any problems yet when it comes to their mask policies and say they don't expect to either. Reporting in Moorhead, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
We also reached out to both Kindred and Oak Grove school districts on repercussions for their students, but did not hear back. Many parents are feeling the weight of to-do lists. They're juggling work and trying to get their kids set up for school each day. Aaron Rushlow, a counselor with Chrysalis in South Fargo, says it's important for mom and dad to give themselves some slack, allowing for grace. Cass County Sheriff's Office and Lutheran Social Services have also partnered to help parents and kids navigate through these tough times for free.
As adults, we also need, after we put our kids to bed, to really work on soothing ourselves at night, creating that time for self-care.
We really encourage people to, at the first signs of distress, to ask for help, to turn to LSS for help.
To find the links and numbers that the services offer, you can download our Valley News Live app. Fargo police are warning you about a sex offender on the north side of the city. 24-year-old Kilo Bowen Davis is now living at 726 College Street North. That's close to NDSU. He was convicted in 2018 for sexual imposition. Court records show he forced a young woman to perform sexual acts on him. Bowen Davis is considered high risk. Those offenders are considered the most likely to reoffend. A 36-year-old man faces multiple charges after authorities say he assaulted his girlfriend. Some of the charges Timothy Smith faces includes conspiracy to commit kidnapping and attempted delivery of heroin. It happened Tuesday when officers were called to a home in Minot for a woman who said she was beaten by her boyfriend. The victim told police that she was sleeping and woke up to Smith beating her, and at one point asking if he wanted to kill her until another woman intervened. Also, that gave the victim enough time to escape and call police. Smith will be seen in court again on November 12th. A man is in jail after drugs were found in his home. A search warrant was executed in the home of Brooks, Minnesota on Wednesday. About 120 grams of meth was seized along with other drug-related items. Joseph Goulet was taken to jail in Crookston. He's been ordered to pay $7,500 in cash and follow other conditions prior to being released. A man ran from police, but he didn't get away after allegedly stealing from a store in Fargo. Police say it happened last night around 7:45 at the Fleet Farm. 31-year-old Philip Peltier ran from the store, but employees were able to give authorities a pretty good description. He was later found on 37th Avenue South. He was arrested in a random backyard. He was arrested for refusal to halt, theft, and 2 outstanding warrants. Still no word on whether the driver of a car will be ticketed after he smashed his vehicle into the corner of a business. It happened just after midnight at 3838 12th Avenue North. The driver remained on scene and cooperated with officers, explaining that he had a medical issue causing the crash. In this picture, you see the airbags went off and the front of the vehicle is smashed in. The car, we're told, is totaled. An Iraq war veteran is pinned under a tree for 4 days and survives. This picture from the Redwood County Sheriff's Office shows that the tree in Joseph Sapleka's yard in southern Minnesota. He was finally found when someone called the sheriff asking for a welfare check after he failed to show up for work. Deputies found him, as we said, pinned underneath the tree, which fell on him as he was cutting trees in his yard. His legs were crushed and his feet may have to be amputated, but his son says Sapleka knows his fate could have been much worse and shares how he survived those 4 days.
As the sun would go down and the insects would come out, he would kind of be listening to, the shift in the wind within the leaves, and then he would notice what birds start singing.
It took only 2 hours for a fire crew to carefully extricate Jonathan. If you're looking for a best place in North Dakota to get the most bang for your buck with your paycheck, look no further than one local city. We'll explain how it's claimed the top spot.
And we picked up 3/100ths of an inch of rain today in Fargo, and the high temperature right at 76 degrees for that high. And we saw no rain today in Grand Forks. And temperatures in Jamestown were 1 degree above average for this time of year. Of course, we'll break down that holiday forecast for you next.